My name is Amanda Jacob. I'm the Director of Online Learning for Northshore Technical Community College. We are a 6-campus site institution that offers CTE, academic transfer credits, and a lot of workforce programs. 2 years ago, I took over as the head of the Department of Online Learning, and I inherited Canvas from another Canvas admin. And one of the things that I noticed when I inherited Canvas is we were not doing enough training in the accessibility field. Myself and the other 11 e-learning coordinators across the state, we get together once a week to discuss strategies. And a number of us were concerned about our accessibility within Canvas. The e-learning coordinators were noticing that there needed to be something better to help our faculty with accessibility. And so we all, as a larger cohort, adopted YuJa. One of the things that really stood out for me, and one of the reasons I really voted for YuJa, was the ease of use, because I have a lot of Canvas users, everywhere from brand new users to users who've been in Canvas for 10 years, but really haven't kept up with the changes in Canvas. So I needed something very user-friendly. So that was how I ended up casting my vote. And I was lucky enough that everybody else casted their vote in the same way. The day we launched YuJa, we ran the accessibility report just to kind of see where our institution was. And I'm a little sad to tell you that our institution was at 62%. It gave me heart palpitations. I was very stressed out because I was like, ooh, 62%. What that did, though, is it actually forced my faculty to really reckon with the fact that they were not as comfortable with accessibility as they thought they were. So we did targeted approaches in order to get ourselves higher. Our first target was actually 75%, and that was a 6-month target. So we wanted to improve a good bit in 6 months. And the improvements we saw were that our student who had classically contacted the Department of Online Learning to complain about the visuals inside of Canvas, the number of complaints dropped dramatically just in 6 months. Our next target, we wanted to move the bar to 85%. And so from that 75 to 85% range, what we noticed is our faculty started thinking differently about what they chose, and they started making better choices about ancillary material. And so they started thinking about accessibility on the front end instead of the aftermath. And so what we noticed is that students were doing better in courses where the teachers were being very intentional about accessibility. Because when you start thinking about accessibility and where you put your ancillary materials, it really made our teachers be much more intentional. And that intention helped our students understand how to move through their courses better. So it was sort of kind of a domino effect where we had YuJa as that tool to kind of help our teachers visualize and understand what students were looking at. And then it in turn impacted our students because our teachers were being much more thoughtful and much more intentional about the choices they made. For me personally, ease of use, of course, was the first. The second thing was support. One of the things I've noticed in the world of ed tech is some companies promise support, but then when push comes to shove, the support really isn't there. And one thing that I enjoyed from the moment that we were even investigating YuJa is we were given people to answer questions for us. Everybody was so available and kind and supportive. And once we even signed up to YuJa, one of the things that continually makes me advocate for keeping our contract, the support is continuous. I've been super happy. One of the things I loved was the little Vitruvian accessibility man for the student. I loved the idea that it wasn't just about helping the teacher improve accessibility. It was about giving a student the power to advocate for themselves and to choose for themselves. So we've really seen that our students with accommodations can take a lot more ownership of their own education, and they're not necessarily relying on a teacher to produce something for them. And that's been a game changer to me, because a lot of times in the communities with individuals with special needs, it's a lot of waiting on somebody else to do, but giving them the power to really change the way they approach their education. I think that's something I'll always champion. So that was something I was very impressed that YuJa thought about that. YuJa for us has improved teaching because our teachers are now actively seeking the professional development needed to improve their courses. And I think sometimes in the world of accessibility, people focus on individuals with different learning needs or neurodivergent personalities, but they don't always realize that accessibility impacts every single student just because we learn differently and we function differently. So having this tool at their fingertip and seeing all the different alternative formats has actually led them to even thinking differently about assignments. My biggest used feature right now by faculty is the PDF, helping them fix their PDFs and then replace it. PDF is one of our biggest struggles, the ability to have it tell them what's wrong in the PDF, the tagging and all of that. That's huge on the faculty side. On my side, the biggest tool is also looking at the errors by content. So looking at the categories of errors, that actually helps me plan training better. We recently had training on how to use headers and how to switch between the headings and the paragraphs within the rich content editor, because that was a lot of errors that I was seeing within the reporting. YuJa has provided a useful, easy product that has truly revolutionized our ability to support all students in their learning journeys.